Hey there, all you dreadful dolls. It's Lindsay. Welcome back. Today I have a nail tutorial for you. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, welcome to Dreadfully Dainty Dips, where we do things nail related like DIY nails, nail product reviews, and movie, music, and Manny Mondays. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'd really appreciate it. Now let's dip into the video. Okay, so y'all are seeing some bare little nubbies here. So we are going to put on some tips. I have BTARTBOX's nail tips that they sent me so that we can try them out. This video I'm going to do like a press-on nail using the little nail like sticky tabs because I just want to be able to take them off a little quicker, so I'm trying something new. Okay, so this is what they look like, and I already have a sheet out that I've been using and testing. So I'll show y'all that. They are clear, and they are double-sided adhesive. Okay, so for today's mani, we're going to do Dipomania, like a Christmas mani. So I couldn't decide if I wanted to do this really pretty red called Femme Fatale, or this green called Vine, or there's another green that I really love that's like a chrome, flaky, kind of like shifty color. This is Extraterrestrial. So this is Vine. This is more of a, just kind of a shimmer glitter. And then the red is the Femme Fatale. And then let me show you Extraterrestrial. It is gorgeous. And it shifts between like a gold, a green, and kind of a blue. But I figured it would really pair well with our Christmas mani that we're going to do today. So which one do I pick? Y'all help me. Okay, well, we'll decide when we get there. So for now, those are the three colors that I'm going to choose between. But I'm only going to do two. And then we are going to be using Dipomania's liquids as well. We have base coat, activator, and top coat. And if you like this little 3D printed holder, y'all get in touch with Chaos Concepts, which they also made these little trays as well. Okay, so I guess I've picked out Femme Fatale and Extraterrestrial. Two great ones. So we're gonna do like a back to the basics, just your plain old glitter dip and a foil dip tutorial. That way I can show you how I do mine. I've slowed it down. I've got some comments asking for me to slow it down a little bit, so this video might be a little bit longer than my usual ones, but that's okay. So if you have any questions though, please let me know down below. And let's get started. Okay, so we have our tips all put on. Let's go ahead and start with Extraterrestrial. Also, if you'd like to know how I apply my tips, please let me know down below, and I will make a separate video on how to use the sticky adhesive tabs, glue-ons, and jelly tips. Okay, so first off, we're going to start with our Dipomania base coat. And if you notice, the nails that I have on are shaped to like a medium coffin-like nail. So they're not really shorties and they're not really long nails. But I'm going to show you how I like to do my layering on my nails so that I get a really good apex. Okay, so this is real time. I will slow it down at the beginning and then we will kind of speed it up after we've kind of gotten the hang of it. So for a medium to long nail, we are going to bring the dip only up to the middle of the nail where you have your breaking point, which would be like your apex. So I'm going to take my base coat brush, and if you can notice, I'm going to wipe off most of the excess liquid. You don't want like a big old blob of liquid because that's gonna flood your cuticles and it's just going to go everywhere, and it just makes more of a nice clean nail. So you're going to start at the tip if you saw, And you're going to dump off most of that liquid on the tip of the nail, your free edge, and then you're going to push back up towards the middle of the nail where you would like to stop for your first layer. And this is a foil, so we're going to gently pat, pat. You can do this with a gloved finger. Me, I just like to get right in there, and I'm messy. But no worries, we'll file that off my finger later if I do have any little like flakies that stick to my nails or glitter that stick to my fingers. Okay, so again, we're going to brush off most of that liquid. Get all that liquid off except for just a little bit on the opposite end of the brush that you're going to use on the nail. You're going to start at that free edge and then you're going to push back. This kind of makes the liquid a little bit thinner so you're not going to get so much bulk in the middle of your nail. Okay, and then I'm doing what they call the lay-in method. Now you can dip your finger into this, but for flakes and glitters, I like to lay into them. And then you're going to give like a gentle pat, but it's kind of like a pat and roll kind of motion. Again, just gentle, gentle. Some of those bigger flakes will break up, and that's okay. Okay, so I have two types of brushes. I have this more coarse, stiff brush, and I have this more like a less coarse brush. I mean, it's not really like really soft, but since we are using a flake and a glitter, we're going to go in with the gentle one first, and we're just going to gently brush off those flakes in the nail and get all that we can off. And then later on, I will show you how we use the more coarse, stiff brush. Okay, so for our second layer, we're going to go a little above where we stopped on the first layer. So this is going to kind of blend everything down to the nail, down to the cuticle line. And you're going to have most of your product at your apex. It will be a little bit thinner at the cuticle, and it will be a little thinner at your free edge. So again, dump off that excess liquid at the very tip of your nail and push it back towards your cuticle. We want thin layers. And again, pat, pat, pat. And if you get some by your cuticle, that's okay. Take a sharp tool like a cuticle tool, or before I got my cuticle tool, I used a toothpick and I scraped along the cuticle lines like that as well. You just want to separate that from your skin in case it gets on there, and then this makes, when you get to your filing stage, a lot easier to crisp up that cuticle line. Okay, we're going to lay in, tap off, and pat and roll. Pat and roll. Get all those flakes pressed into that base coat. Okay, now we're going to take our less stiff brush again, gently brush off all that excess powder because you don't want that in there. You don't want to go back into your liquids and then go straight onto your nail because that will just be a hot mess. You get your liquids all mixed up with that excess clear powder that they mix with the flakes and making the whole dip powder concoction. And then you get all that back into your bottle of your liquids, and it's just not good. So please make sure you are dusting off in between each layer. All right, look at that nice little apex we got going. And that's okay if you have some spots that didn't get covered in the flakes, because we will do a couple more layers where we make sure we get our sidewalls really good. Okay, so time for our third layer. So again, dump off most of that liquid towards the tip of your nail, and then go back and brush towards your cuticle. Now when you get to the cuticle, you want to be very easy. You know, take your time, go slow, and make sure you don't get any of that base coat, you know, up on the cuticle where it's gonna, you know, kind of like glue your cuticle with your nail. I don't know if that's how you would explain it, but that's where you're going to take our sharp cuticle tool, and after we pat, we will clear that area so that we can file it easier in the end. So just gently scrape all those flakes away from your cuticle. Make sure they're not sticking, because that can also cause lifting if, you know, any of that base coat gets on your cuticle and your skin. We give a little pat pat and dust it off, or tap it off. We will repeat the same for our ring finger. Be easy around that cuticle line. You don't want to flood it. Just gentle, gentle. Take your time. There you go. Make sure you get to them sidewalls. Give your powder a little shake to bring those flakes back up to the surface. And then pat and roll. Pat and roll. Okay, scrape that cuticle. You want to have the nice crisp cuticle lines in the very end. It will look so, so good. Be well worth it. Okay, now let's dust off again. Be very gentle. And these flakes, they just go everywhere. But okay, so this is how we're looking. Looking good. Isn't that such a pretty green? The Extraterrestrial. I love the shifts. Okay, so we are going to do one last over the whole nail layer. So this will be our fourth layer. I know it seems like a lot, but since we built it up in stages, this last one isn't really going to make it too bulky. And if you've taken your time and you've went slow and made sure you dispersed all of that liquid out really evenly, we're going to have less to file, and we might not even have to put on a clear coat in the very end. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I know a lot of people do to protect those flakes, but if you have a really nice and great application, when you go to, activate that nail, and then, all you have left to do is just file your sidewalls and your free edge, then sometimes just a top base coat, a top dip coat will suffice. I think it's really just all personal preference. Okay, so back to our ring finger. We're doing our fourth layer on our ring finger. We are going really slow. We are taking our time. And it looks like I'm touching that cuticle, but if I zoomed you in, I am just really, really close without trying to touch it. Okay, shake all them flakes back to the top and lay in. Okay, pat and roll. Pat and roll. This is just going to make sure everything's all flat. Okay, and scrape that cuticle. Gentle, gentle. Again, take your time. No need to hurry. Okay, so we are done with our green. Amazing things about this little nifty little tray is it's flexible. So nothing is wasted. You just bend that baby in half, give it a little tap, and slide all that right back into your jar. Such an easy cleanup. Okay, so let's get this put away, and then we will start on our red. I love this red. Again, it's by Dipomania, called Femme Fatale. Whoop. I am the most klutzy person ever. Okay, now onto our red. So we are going to repeat all the steps that we did on our pinky finger and our ring finger. Oh, now we're going in with the stiff brush. So after everything has set and cured and it's kind of all, like hardened up, then you can really get in there with that stiff brush. Make sure you get off all the excess little things, little flakes, glitters, clear powder. That will also make for a nice, outcome in the very end. Makes things less cloudy. Okay, so the red, we are going to do the same process on our middle finger, our pointer finger, and our thumb. And I believe I will speed this up, let y'all watch, and I'll be right back when we're done. Hey, I'm back. Okay, so we are on our last layer. We're going to get our area cleaned up here, and we are going to dust off really good, and then we will move into our clear. Okay, we're back. So now, you know what? Let's go ahead and encapsulate in a dip of clear. We're going to use Dipomania's 0. And we are just going to do one thin layer over all of the nails with clear. Now, if you've noticed, I have not activated this whole time. So, when we're done with our clear, I'll bring you back to the activation stage. Okay, so we've got all of our 5 fingers done and all of our clear. Now let's put that away. Let's clean up our area, and then let's give that a really good dust off or brush off, whichever one you like to say. And this is how I clear that glitter that's stuck on my finger. Alright, stiff brush time. Get in there really, really good. Brush off all that extra, everything. The clear, the glitter, the flakes. Get in those grooves. Get in your cuticle. Clean, clean, clean. Dust, dust, dust. Brush, brush, brush. Okay, so this is how we're looking. Looking good. Now we're going to activate and file. So you want to activate that really good. Really saturate that clear powder so that it can penetrate through all of the layers. Okay, we are done with activating. So now it's time for filing. Okay, so I will start out with this 100 and 180 grit file. I like a good 100 side. That's just personal preference. It helps me get in there and really clean up my sidewalls and my free edge, where I will start first. So I will shapen those back up, get any overhang glitter from the bottom cleaned up. And then I will go into my cuticle area, and this is for hand filing. Sometimes I do have an e-file, but I'm just kind of showing you hand file wise. For those of you that don't have an e-file, Okay, so here I'm just going downward motion on each side of my nail to keep that apex nice and rounded. And then you will go across the top just very gently because you don't want to lose that rounded apex, just in case you have any bumpy lumpies. You know, you can feel free to get those, but go down the nail from cuticle to free edge. Okay, I will show you on the next nail. Now this is, again, I don't have to do very much filing because I kept the nail really nice and clean. You know, we dusted off between each layer, we kept our layers thin, we press down those glitters and those flakes. So you should really have very minimal filing if you do it just right. Again, go down each side of the nail in a downward motion from the middle to the outwards. On both sides, underneath. Do your free edge, and then just kind of, if you have to follow your top, I will actually go in like a rocking motion back and forth to kind of keep it, rounded. Okay, let me get the rest of these filed and I'll be right back. Ooh, movie magic, that was quick, huh? Okay, so again, dust brush, do all the things, get them really nice and clean. Okay, now it's buffing block time. I have this one by BTARTBOX. It's just like a fine grit buffer. We're going to go over and just kind of smooth out all of that rough filing that we just did. Just gently, just a little bit. You can kind of tell all the areas that you're hitting will be kind of cloudy versus, shiny from the activator. And just give them a good little buffing until you can feel that they're nice and smooth. And then again, dust and brush. Get it really good. Clean, clean, clean. Okay, so now it is time for top coat. Oh, sorry. We're going to activate one more time because we are using dip liquids, and your top coat requires you to activate a second time, or at least on my liquids that I'm using currently do. So I'm going to activate, and then we will let it, while we put our bottle back together, we will let it set, and then we will go in with our first layer of top coat. And I will walk you through the stages on that because that is also very important on the way that you do the steps. Okay, so top coat time. We have a piece of paper towel. This is important because we are going to brush off in between each nail. Okay, I have a little finger stand here. I'm going to use one of my dip jars. This is how we're looking. Looking good, looking good. I just love these colors together. They're so pretty. I can't wait for y'all to see it at the very end. Gorgeous. Okay, so for top coat, we are going to do the bottle thing again. Get most of that liquid off. And then for your top coat, you're going to want to do 3 swipes. I don't care how you do it. You just only do 3 passes on your nail, and then you're going to brush off that brush before you dip it back into your bottle. The reason why we try to only do 3 or less passes on a nail for your first layer of top coat is because that activator is still on that nail, so you want to touch that brush the least amount of times as you can to that nail, but you also want to try to cover the whole nail in those 3 swipes. So again, take your time, go slow. You want to pass 1, 2, 3. Try not to hit that cuticle. Brush off, back in the bottle. Again, take off most of that liquid when you're taking your brush out of your bottle. And we're going to swipe 1, 2, 3. And don't worry if you don't get all the nail, or if you miss some spots, it's okay, because once this dries and we go in for our second top coat, this is where we will perfect, our final stage. So don't worry. So see, my thumb's kind of funky. It's okay, we'll fix that. Okay, so as soon as you can see, it's pretty much almost immediately. I'm trying to get it to focus here. When you can go back and see that your nail is kind of like the coat has rippled. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, it's not as shiny. So we are immediately going to go back in with our second top coat. Brush off that excess liquid. And now this is where you can take your time. Hit the areas that you missed maybe beforehand or that you would like to cover more. And this one doesn't matter how many swipes that you do, but do make sure that you wipe your brush off on your paper towel, still in between each layer, or in between each finger, sorry. And then cap them free edges. This will help everything stick, not chip, not peel. And just take your time. This is all about just taking your time. You can't just, you know, get in here and throw it on your nails. The best manis, I believe, are the ones where you just take your time, no matter how long it takes. That's okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. See, it's okay on your second top coat. You know, make sure you coat it. You still want to stay kind of thin, you know, on your layers. You know, don't glob it on there. And then just go nice and slow. Get most of that liquid at your free edge again and kind of brush back into the cuticle. If you're making sure that you're brushing off most of the excess when you take your brush out of that bottle, that'll really help you to not have so much, you know, base and top coat on your nail where flooding becomes an issue. And okay, so let's get that out of the way so I can show y'all. Now, Dipomania's liquids are amazing. I have not used liquids yet, and this is honest opinion, that have given me such a glossy, like hard shine. And by hard, I mean like salon quality. When you go to a salon and you get your nails dipped there, you can definitely tell between different liquids where they're more soft, they're not as shiny. These, like I'm doing the, you know, the touch, I'm trying to see if they're dry, and they are dry like seconds later after our second top coat. It's just amazing. Y'all, please go try them out. You will not regret it. And if you do, let me know down below so you can change my mind. But okay, last of all, cuticle oil. Please use your cuticle oil or something to that effect. You want to, after all of that rough filing and buffing, we need to give them babies some extra moisture, okay? Refresh them puppies, makes them look good. Also makes your mani pictures look good. And just get in there really good. Cuticles, sidewalls, and don't forget the underneath of your nails, because, you know, all of our nails, that's new growth, you know, and it promotes new growth, and it just helps everything stay nice and healthy. You know, it doesn't hurt to have one laying around in different rooms. Throw one in your purse if you're going somewhere. Down where I'm at, it's becoming winter time and everything is so dry. So cuticle oil, yes, is a must. Okay, so this is all of the products we used today. We have our Femme Fatale color, Extraterrestrial, our Zero, which was our clear, cuticle oil, and then of course our dip liquids. Now it's time for the old picture. Let me grab my Nelfie sleeve and my ring box. Isn't this a cute little ring box? I had a friend of mine make this. It's a coffin. Is that not too cute? I have the lid somewhere around here. It's probably in my Nelfie prop drawer. And here's my ring. Let me get that out of the way. And here we are. Alright guys, if you like this video and you like Back to the Basics, please let me know what else that you need help with. I would love to show you anything. Just let me know in the comments down below. If you like this, please don't forget to subscribe. I really love y'all hanging out with me today. I'll see you next time. Bye!